Heartwarming twist: after 20 years, two orphans reveal an incredible surprise for their life-changing future. In a small Midwestern town, two orphans, Sam and Lily, navigate the choppy waters of life with courage and a dash of humor. Sam, 17 with tousled hair and bright eyes that sparkled with defiance, dreamed of escaping the chains of his past. Meanwhile, Lily, with her spirited laughter masking the ache of abandonment, served tables at the local diner. A swirl of burgers sizzling and coffee brewing, the diner was a sanctuary, a haven where the laughter sometimes masked tears and hope flickered like the fluorescent lights overhead. One fateful night, the doors swung open in a dramatic whoosh, and in walked a businessman who looked as if he owned the town. His judgmental gaze shot straight to Sam and Lily. "Look at those gutter snipes," he sneered, his voice as cold as the Midwestern winter. In that moment, humiliation pooled in Sam's chest, igniting a raw indignation. Fueled by fury, he vowed to pursue an education and escape the stigma of his childhood, embodying the relentless spirit of the American dream. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As graduation approached, a shocking revelation lay beneath the surface. A hidden will from their deceased parents surfaced, a flicker of hope promising resources more than they ever dreamed. But it tied them to a stern aunt, a figure sworn to uphold the kind of prejudice they fought against. A wave of despair crashed over them. How could they move forward with her standing resolutely against them? The townsfolk rallied around Sam and Lily. The diner buzzed with whispers and kindness, transforming it into a sanctuary for beleaguered hearts. "You both deserve a chance," Mrs. Thompson, their favorite waitress, declared, wiping away her own tears as she served up steaming plates. The free-flowing support morphed into a community movement, igniting hope in places darkened by scorn. Their hearts clashed and soared as they prepared for the confrontation with their aunt, hearts pounding, hands sweaty. With every night spent in the diner, laughter created an invisible bond, tightening the already inseparable connection forged through shared pain. This fight wasn't just for inheritance, it was about recognition and love, their right to be valued. Then came the moment of stark confrontation. Under dim lights, surrounded by familiar faces, Sam and Lily faced their aunt, each word delivered like a shot echoing through the room, every plea grounding their fight against the world's indifference. The air thickened with charged anticipation as emotions cracked like thunder. Orphaned yet resilient, they voiced their truth, determined their story did not end here. Just as the tension reached its boiling point, a family secret hung heavy in the air, a revelation poised to shatter the facade of their aunt's authority. What would they discover? Would the warmth of their community embrace them, or would cold judgment pull them back into darkness? The answers lay just beyond the precipice of that moment, waiting to unravel the future they so desperately wanted. The tension in the room pulsed like a live wire. Sam clenched his fists, his heart thundering against his ribcage. Next to him, Lily took a deep breath, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears of determination. Their aunt looked like a statue, her expression carved in stubborn disapproval. "Stop," she commanded, her voice slicing through the anticipation like a knife. "You have no idea what you're asking for." But Sam and Lily had an inkling. They shared a glance loaded with silent understanding, a fleeting moment where their hopes intertwined like vines. Then, Sam stepped forward, his voice steady but reverberating with the weight of their shared past. "You think we don't know about the struggles?" he challenged her. "We've lived them. You may hold the keys to a house and a bank account, but we have the love and support of this community." The diner patrons leaned in closer, their collective breath sharp with anticipation. Lily joined in, fueled by the warmth of familiarity in the room. "Those keys don't mean anything if they lock us out of our own lives. It's not about the money. It's about being family, and you've never treated us like family." Her voice trembled but remained resolute, the aunt's eyes flicked to the crowd, wary and calculating. She always prided herself on self-sufficiency, dismissing Sam and Lily as mere burdens. Yet now, surrounded by soft whispers of support, something shifted in her posture. "You have no idea what my life has been like," she snapped, but there was less bite in her tone. Behind her steely facade, doubts began to surface. It was a crack, a momentary wavering of her usually firm grip over the situation. "What life?" Sam shot back, frustration boiling over. "The life where you turned your back on two kids trying to survive. You've got everything, and we've got nothing. This is the chance to make it right. To be the family we never had." He gestured to everyone in the diner, a family of sorts, who had risen up for them, holding hope in their hands, the silence stretched, heavy and charged. People shifted in their seats, eyes darting between the three of them, sensing that a turning point was at hand. Mrs. Thompson squeezed Lily's shoulder, her expression one of silent encouragement, mirroring the nods from others in the room. Finally, the aunt's expression wavered. "And what do you think this community will do when they see you squabbling over money?" she asked weakly, but Sam and Lily could sense the walls around her heart weakening like thawing ice. "Maybe they'll see something different," Lily replied softly, her voice breaking. "Maybe they'll see how much we've survived together. It's not just about us anymore, it's about starting fresh, for all of us." As the heaviness in the air shifted, an unexpected sound interrupted. Someone began to clap, hesitantly at first, but soon the rhythm snowballed into enthusiastic applause. The whole diner pulsed with affection, each hand echoing the sentiment that had long been buried: the hope for family, for togetherness, for love. Sam's heart beat wildly as he caught the gaze of their aunt once more. In that moment, a flicker of something, maybe compassion, crossed her face. But was it enough to break through years of stone-cold indifference? Just as her lips parted to respond, the diner doors burst open again. A gust of wind swept through, carrying with it an aura of unexpected drama. The figure stepping inside shocked everyone into silence. It was someone they all recognized, someone who had once been part of their lives in a shattered past. "Sorry to interrupt," the newcomer announced, a mix of urgency and familiarity enveloping their voice. "But I think it's time we talked about the real truth here. What hidden chapters from the past would this person reveal? Would they bring the hope Lily and Sam desperately sought, or unravel everything they worked to build?" The air thickened with tension again as all eyes turned toward the door. Sam's stomach dropped, and a mix of worry and excitement washed over him. He knew that voice too well. "Tyler," Lily breathed out, her expression betraying a blend of shock and recognition. Sam's heart raced. Tyler had haunted their childhood memories: friend, protector, and, ultimately, the person who left when they needed him most. Tyler looked older, ruggedly handsome, but it was the way his eyes darted nervously around the diner that cut deep. He was struggling, just like them. "Why now?" Sam couldn't help but demand. "You just pop back into our lives because it looks convenient." His words held more bite than he intended, but the pain ran deep. They weathered storms alone and had no room to accept another departure. "I know how it looks," Tyler replied, his voice heavy with regret. "But I swear I didn't come back to make things worse. I came because I've learned things. Important things." "What could you possibly have to say that matters after all this time?" Their aunt interjected, her arms crossed defensively. "You think you can just stroll in and disrupt everything?" "Actually, I might be the one who can help," Tyler said, glancing nervously at the crowd. "I wouldn't have shown up if it wasn't serious." The diner fell silent again, anticipation thickening in the air. Sam and Lily exchanged confused glances, unsure of whether to believe him or shut him out like they had so many others. But the desperation of wanting a family, the longing that had been absent for so long, pulled at them. "It's about your parents," Tyler said, each word coming out slowly, deliberately. "And about what really happened 3 years before they died." "What do you mean?" Lily's voice wavered, her heart quickening. "I had my reasons for leaving," Tyler continued, urgency creeping into his tone. But I stayed close enough to keep track. I learned things that you guys need to know, things that could turn everything around. What are you saying? Sam pressed, disbelief wrestling with curiosity. Your aunt isn't the only one who knew your parents. Tyler took a deep breath as if gathering courage. There was a plan, a safety net in case things went wrong, but your aunt didn't tell you everything. It was a promise your parents made, something that could help all of us. The air pulsed again, this time tinged with the promise of revelation. Everyone was hanging on his words, sensing the gravity of the moment. What kind of safety net? Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The crowd leaned closer, their own hope sparking in the impending storm of revelations. Tyler's expression hardened, a mix of pain and resolve swirling in his eyes. If you trust me and let me explain, I believe it could change everything for you both. You won't have to just fight for scraps anymore. You can reclaim what's yours. The tension raced through Sam again, suffocating and exhilarating at once. Here stood someone who held pieces of their past, and his words hinted at reclaiming more than just a place in their lives. Will you hear me out? Tyler said, his voice filled with a desperate plea mixed with hope. And just like that, they reached a crossroads. Would they dare to unlock the door to their past, even if it revealed truths that could shatter everything they thought they knew? With the community's support seeping through every heartbeat, Sam looked at Lily. We have to know. As she nodded, the sense of the unknown swelled, heavy and electrifying. This was their chance, a moment that could shift the course of everything. But at what cost? Just then, a loud crash echoed from the back of the diner. Everyone turned as chaos erupted. What had just begun as an opportunity now danced dangerously close to disaster. The sound of glass shattering sliced through the tense air like a knife. All eyes snapped to the back of the diner, where a table had collapsed under the weight of a clumsy patron, sending plates and cups crashing onto the floor. A wave of murmurs rippled through the crowd, tension mixing with uncertainty. Sam's thoughts spiraled. The moment had felt electric, but now it was fraying at the edges. Lily's hand tightened around Sam's wrist, her expression a mix of fear and anticipation. What was that? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Tyler, however, seemed unfazed. He locked eyes with the pair, urgency flashing across his face. Focus, he urged. We need to talk about your parents and that safety net. Before they could respond, Sam felt his heart race again, not just from Tyler's intensity but from the chaos brewing behind him. The diner was turning into a flurry of movement, patrons rising to help, confusion spreading like wildfire. Tyler, can we really do this here? Sam asked, his voice low but filled with determination. The environment around them was deteriorating, yet he felt anchored by Tyler's presence, as if the very topic of their conversation had pushed aside the chaos for a moment. Yes, Tyler insisted, shaking his head as if he could shake off the distractions. Now is the time. You need to know. I promise you, this matters more than that mess. Suddenly, their aunt stepped forward, her arms still crossed but her features softer now. You owe it to them to tell the truth, Tyler. If you really believe what you have to say will matter, then speak. But know that you're not the only one who has had to deal with loss. People started to calm down, chairs sliding back into place as the diner's patrons turned their attention back to the three of them. You both need to understand, Tyler continued, his voice steadying, that the truth about that promise is what brought your parents to this town in the first place. They were trying to protect you, to keep you safe. What do you mean protect us? Lily asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. From what? There's so much you don't know, Tyler replied, his voice dropping to a near whisper. They were involved in something that could have put you both in danger. They thought they could shield you, and that's why I left, because their fear turned into paranoia. A heavy silence fell. Sam felt the weight of Tyler's words. His mind raced as images of their childhood played back like a film reel, a mix of warmth laced with unspoken fears that had always been lingering just beneath the surface. He could almost hear their parents arguing in hushed tones, the stricken looks on their faces when they realized something was amiss. "What are you saying?" he asked again, needing clarification, needing a lifeline in this sea of uncertainty. "What did you learn?" "I can't explain everything right now," Tyler said, glancing around the diner, "but whatever plans they made, they were meant to protect you two from the very monsters they feared would come for you. And there are still remnants of that promise left, something, or someone, who can help." Hope and dread mingled within Sam. He could feel it. This was more than a conversation about their parents. This was a chance to reclaim their lives, or it could tear them further apart. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, a figure burst through the diner door, breathless and wide-eyed. "You're all in danger. We have to leave now." The room froze. All eyes turned to the newcomer. Faces went pale as the weight of a new reality set in. Sam felt the color drain from his own face. What awaited them next could change everything or end it all. The past was colliding with the present in ways no one could have anticipated. What truths would emerge, and would they be ready to face them? The tension in the diner thickened like fog, enveloping Sam and Lily in an icy grip. The newcomer's alarm sent tremors through the crowd, scattering the remnants of the earlier chaos like broken glass. The words echoed in Sam's mind, vibrating through his very core, "You're all in danger." The figure, a man with wild hair and an unkempt beard, was panting as he approached their table. His clothes looked worn, practically hanging off him like they belonged to someone else. Yet, his eyes were sharp, filled with an urgency that demanded attention. "Who are you?" Tyler asked, stepping forward, instinctively protective. "Name's Ethan," the man replied, scanning the room. "I know your parents. And I know what's coming." His voice was rough, like gravel beneath a tire. Sam felt a shiver race down his spine at the mention of their parents. "What do you mean? What's happening?" Lily's voice cut through the tension, trembling slightly. Ethan took a deep breath, trying to compose himself amid the murmurs of the diner. "I can explain everything, but we can't stay here. They're looking for you." He pointed a finger at Sam and Lily, his eyes darting toward the window. "I saw the men in dark cars. They know you're here." Sam's heart pounded. He felt like a small boat buffeted by rising waves. "What do you know about our parents?" Each word dripped with anxiety. "Your mom and dad made a choice, a promise fueled by fear. They sacrificed their connection to protect you. But that promise is unraveling. Dangerous people want to finish what they started, and it all leads back to you," Ethan explained, his voice low but urgent. Tyler exchanged glances with Sam and Lily, the weight of Ethan's words pressing down on them. "What exactly did they do? What did they promise?" "I can't go into that now," Ethan replied, his gaze flitting back to the door. "What I can tell you is if you want to stay safe, we need to move. We have to find a place where we can talk openly." Lily looked to Sam, uncertainty clouding her features. "Sam, what should we do?" He felt the burden of the decisions ahead, the responsibility laying heavy on his shoulders. "We have to trust him," he finally said, though doubt flickered like a candle in his mind. Ethan led the way toward the diner's exit, his frame casting a long shadow. There was a palpable fear among the patrons, who suddenly seemed more like wary shadows than curious onlookers. Sam, Lily, and Tyler followed, the trio's steps echoing against the tiled floor. Just as they reached the door, a sinister voice rang out. "Going somewhere?" Sam froze. He turned slowly, his heart sinking as he faced three men, their faces obscured by dark glasses and caps. They exuded an air of menace, standing like a wall of danger. "Get back!" Ethan shouted, positioning himself in front of Sam and Lily. "You don't know who you're messing with." The air thickened again, laced with dread and adrenaline. Sam's fight-or-flight instinct kicked in, grasping the reality that not only was their past coming back to haunt them, but their decisions now could shape the future. What would happen next? Could they find a way to escape, or would the promise that once aimed to protect them become the very thing that sealed their fate? Run! Ethan yelled. As they darted through the exit, a wild rush of thoughts clashed in Sam's mind, fear mingling with hope. What truths awaited them beyond those doors? Would they have the courage to face what lay ahead? They burst outside into the night air, the diner's warm glow fading behind them like a distant memory. Sam's heart raced, each beat like a drum demanding action. He glanced back at the door, fearing the instant when it would slam open, unleashing danger upon them. Come on! Ethan urged, leading them away from the diner. His breath came in quick bursts, the urgency of the moment driving him forward. Where are we going? Sam panted, struggling to keep pace. To a safe place, Ethan replied, looking over his shoulder. Trust me. Lily clutched Sam's arm, her eyes wide with fear. What is going to happen to our parents? She managed to ask through trembling lips. The uncertainty of their fate wrapped itself around her like a heavy blanket, weighty and suffocating. There are things about them you don't know, Ethan said, his voice low but steady. But right now, you need to focus on staying safe. We'll figure everything out, I promise. They rounded a corner and darted down a narrow alley. The cold brick walls loomed high on either side, whispering secrets of long-forgotten stories. The sharp sounds of their hurried footsteps bounced off the walls, a chaotic symphony mirroring their racing hearts. More men emerged from the shadows, dark figures blending into the night like predators stalking their prey. Sam felt the tightening of panic knot in his stomach. Stay close. Ethan called, leading them deeper into the shadows, where the flickering streetlights could barely reach. Lily gasped as they skidded to a halt behind a dumpster, the smell of garbage overwhelming but doing little to drown out their fear. Sam's hands trembled at his sides. He felt powerless, like he was meant to protect them, yet he was just another scared kid lost in a world far too big and dangerous. Are they coming? Tyler whispered, peering around the edge of the dumpster. His voice was a low growl, but the fear was evident. I think we lost them for now, Ethan replied, though his eyes stayed watchful. But we need to get out of here. Fast. What if we can't trust you? Sam blurted out, the words spilling from his lips before he could stop them. Uncertainty pulsed through him as he searched Ethan's face for any signs of deceit. Ethan's expression softened. I get it. You have every reason to be scared and distrustful. But I'm here to help you, just as I tried to help your parents. You need to believe that. The sincerity in Ethan's eyes caused Sam's heart to race anew. There was something about this man, a flicker of authenticity in the chaos. Maybe he was their only chance. Let us go. We have to get to the old warehouse on the edge of town. It's south, the safest place for now, Ethan instructed, standing once again, his posture radiating determination. They moved more cautiously now, stepping lightly, glancing back to ensure they weren't followed. Sam felt the weight of Lily's hand in his, a small anchor in the storm of fear that threatened to consume them. What do you mean, things about our parents? Lily asked softly. Ethan paused for a moment, his gaze focused on the path ahead. You'll understand soon enough. There are secrets that your parents kept for your safety, but they failed to protect you as long as they thought. And the truth is more complicated than you can imagine. Each word hung in the air, charged with tension and urgency. Why had their parents kept secrets? What had they been protecting them from? Just as that thought began to settle, Ethan's head snapped up, his expression tense. We need to move now. With no time to waste, they sprinted toward the darkness ahead. Shadows danced around them, mingling with the echo of their breaths, a chorus of hope and fear entwined. What secrets awaited them at the warehouse? As they ran into the unknown, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that the truths they were about to uncover might change everything. Would they be prepared for the revelations that lay ahead? They pressed on, hearts pounding in synchronicity with their hurried footsteps. The darkness enveloped them, thick as fog, swallowing up streetlights and the distant hum of cars. Each breath was a silent prayer, each turn a gamble. Ethan led the way, glancing back every few steps, ensuring that they were still in one piece. The old warehouse loomed closer, its silhouette barely visible but looming ominously against the starlit sky. Sam's mind raced with questions, guilt bubbling beneath the surface. Why had their parents put them in danger? How had it come to this? What do you think is going to happen when we get there? Tyler asked, quickening his pace. His voice cracked slightly, exposing the tension they all felt. Ethan slowed, looking at them for a moment. I promise it's safer there. We'll meet some people who can help. They know about your parents too. Help with what? Lily interjected, her voice quavering. What is going on? Ethan opened his mouth to answer, but a sudden noise caught his attention. Footsteps echoed off the walls, growing louder, more frantic. Sam's heart dropped into his stomach. He knew they had to keep moving. Come on. Ethan urged, taking off again, leading them down another alley that branched off the main road. They ran faster, pushing through exhaustion and fear. Sam gripped Lily's hand tighter, wishing he could bear the weight of her worry. They turned the corner of a street and suddenly, the warehouse came into view. The big old structure was an imposing fortress, the metal door partially ajar. A flickering light could be seen inside, casting eerie shadows along the ground. Sam felt a shiver run down his spine. Is it safe? Tyler whispered, his uncertainty palpable. Safer than out here, Ethan replied. But we need to be quiet. We don't want to attract any unwelcome guests. With one last glance behind them, Ethan pushed the door open, the creak echoing eerily in the silence. They slipped inside, the musty air wrapping around them as if they had crossed into another world. Inside, the vast space was cluttered with crates and old furniture, an abandoned relic of memories long forgotten. Stay close, Ethan instructed, scanning the room. They moved into the shadows, hearts racing, ears straining to pick up any sound. Just then, a figure stepped from behind a crate. Sam's breath hitched in his throat as he came face to face with another person, a woman, weathered but with warmth that radiated from her eyes. Ethan. You made it. She exclaimed, rushing forward. Of course, I did, Ethan replied, a hint of relief breaking through his tension. I found them. What do you mean? The woman turned to the kids, concern filling her gaze. Are you all right? As they exchanged introductions, Sam felt a spark of hope. This woman's presence calmed the aching dread that had settled for so long. Your parents, they were part of something important. Something that's been hidden from you, the woman said gently, hesitance shading her words. It's time you learned the truth. The kind of truth that could change everything. Sam exchanged looks with Lily and Tyler. Their hearts beat louder than ever, tinged with a mix of anxiety and curiosity. What truth? What secrets had been hidden from them all these years? The air in the warehouse thickened with anticipation, each second stretching out. Sam felt the whirlwind of emotions building within him: hope, fear, urgency. Determined to embrace whatever lay ahead, he took a deep breath. What do we need to know? As the three kids leaned in, ready to absorb the answers, an unexpected crash echoed from outside. The night had not finished unleashing its terrors. What had they stumbled into, and would they truly be ready for the forces they were about to face? The crash came again, louder this time, sending a jolt through Sam's spine. All eyes shifted toward the door, hearts racing a little faster. Ethan's fingers tightened around the handle of an old wooden crate, as he moved instinctively to shield the others. Everyone stay low, he whispered urgently. The woman's face turned serious. We need to find a place to hide, she said, scanning the shadows hugging the warehouse's corners, weighing her options. Why is this happening? Tyler asked, his voice trembling. Why are we in danger? Because, the woman began, her tone heavy with understanding, your parents were involved in something that put them and you at risk. It's a long story, one that requires a strong heart to hear. Lily's grip on Sam's hand tightened. We can handle it, she said, her voice stronger than he expected, as if drawing strength from the impending darkness. All right, but you must listen carefully, the woman replied, guiding them away from the door, deeper into the clutter and shadows of the warehouse. Your parents were part of a society that uncovered truths about a powerful organization, a corporation that has been pulling strings behind the scenes for decades. They had documents, plans that if gotten into the wrong hands, could cause chaos. What kind of chaos? Ethan pressed, eyes steely with determination. Bad people want that knowledge, she explained, her voice dropping to a hushed urgency. They think the children, specifically you, might know something or could be used to get what they want. As she spoke, Sam's stomach churned. The weight of their parents' secrets seemed a heavy burden resting on their shoulders now. Then a series of shouts interrupted, voices jumbled and frantic, sounding dangerously close. Sam could feel the adrenaline pumping through him like a wild river. I can't stay here. I have to call for help, Ethan declared suddenly. You guys stay hidden. I'll draw them away. No. Tyler exclaimed, panic flooding his voice. You can't go out there. What if I can't let them find you? Ethan insisted, determination etched across his face. I can do this. Ethan, wait, the woman said, reaching for him, but it was too late. He bolted toward the entrance, eyes fixed on nothing but his goal. Get behind those crates. The woman urged them, pointing to a dark corner. Fear turned to action, and the three of them scrambled, knowing every second counted. From their new hiding spot, they could see Ethan peeking out, clutching a makeshift weapon, a rusty pipe. The moments felt drawn out, each heartbeat echoing in Sam's ears. He felt the warmth of Lily's hand in his own, grounding him even in this chaos. Then, footsteps thundered in. Shadows loomed in the doorway. Sam held his breath, anxiety curling in his chest as figures emerged. They wore dark clothing, faces obscured by masks, moving with an efficiency that spoke of experience. Search the place. One of them ordered, and dread washed over Sam. They were looking for them. As the intruders drew closer, the woman turned to Sam, her look steady and assured. Listen, you need to trust each other and stay strong. You're part of something bigger than you realize, and once we get out of this, I promise I'll tell you everything. What if we can't get out? Sam whispered, his voice barely audible. The woman's eyes softened. You will. Trust in each other. And when the moment comes, be ready. Just then, an explosion of noise broke out as Ethan confronted one of the intruders. The chaos erupted. Ethan! Sam yelled, voice raw. But before he could think, movement surged through him. He knew that they had to act, had to save Ethan. Would they find the courage to step out of their hiding spot, or would fear keep them frozen in place as their lives changed forever? Sam's heart thundered in his ears as he and Lily pressed themselves against the rough wood of the crates. The noise of shouts and the clash of metal filled the air, drowning out any coherent thought. He could barely see Ethan struggling against the masked figure, rusty pipe swinging wildly in the dim light. Don't look, he whispered to Lily, feeling her trembling hand in his, but Lily's voice was fierce. We can't just sit here while he gets hurt. The woman glanced at them, her face a mask of determination. We have to wait for the right moment. If we go now, we'll make it worse. But Sam felt a fire flicker inside him. They couldn't let Ethan face them alone. He met Lily's gaze, and in that silent exchange, an agreement passed between them. A shout echoed in the warehouse, this time accompanied by a crash. Find the kids. They have to be here somewhere. The masked men were growing louder, more frantic. It was only a matter of time before they found their hiding spot. Sam's throat tightened, the panic was becoming unbearable. Now. Sam's voice broke through the noise, and without waiting for another thought, he bolted forward, squeezing through the narrow space between the crates. Sam, wait. Lily's cry followed him, but he was already committed. The chaos swirled around him as he rushed toward Ethan, who was still locked in a struggle with one of the intruders. The sight of his friend being overpowered ignited a burst of adrenaline in Sam. Get off him! Sam yelled, grabbing a nearby broken pipe, aiming for the masked figure's back. With a desperate swing, he made contact. The figure stumbled forward, allowing Ethan to break free. "Thanks, man." Ethan gasped, breathless, but their moment of triumph was fleeting. Another intruder stepped forward, eyes flaring with anger, and the fighting resumed. "Let us go," Lily shouted, now beside Sam, holding a dusty plank as a makeshift weapon. "We can't let them trap us here." The woman joined them, her expression steeled with resolve. "Follow me. We need to find a way out now." They dashed towards the back of the warehouse, hearts pounding in unison, the sound of their pursuers gaining on them. As they reached a heavy door, the woman hesitated. "We have to brace it once we're through." "They'll follow fast," she urged. Ethan pushed against the door, while Sam and Lily quickly formed a barricade behind them with scattered crates. "Are we safe?" Tyler's voice wavered as he finally caught up with them, eyes wide with fear. The woman exchanged a glance with Sam. "For now. But they'll come for us. We need to talk." "Talk?" Sam's jaw clenched. What could be more important than getting away? She placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. "You need to understand why you're involved in this, Sam. All of you do. It's bigger than any of us. Why are you here?" Ethan prompted, adjusting his stance against the door, eyes shifting toward the noise outside. Before she could respond, the door rattled violently as an intruder slammed against it. It creaked ominously, wooden beams groaned under pressure. "Stay strong, all right?" she urged as adrenaline coursed through her. "Hold this until I come back." "Back? Where are you going?" Tyler asked, panic rising again. "I'm going to hold them off. You guys need to get to safety." The woman turned, determination blazing in her eyes. "What if you don't come back?" Lily whispered, fear choking her words. The woman turned back, pausing just long enough for Sam to see a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes. "You will. I promise you this." Then she flew through the door, disappearing into the shadows of the warehouse as the door shuttered harder. Instinct kicked in as the kids braced against the door, holding their breath. "Do you trust her?" Sam whispered, eyes wide, pulse racing. They all exchanged glances, fear hanging heavy in the air. Would they be able to stand strong, ready for whatever came next? Would they be able to trust her when the dust settled? The silence that filled the warehouse weighed heavy with uncertainty. Sam tensed, the pressure of their situation pressing down on him. It felt like a dam ready to burst. Would they be able to hold off whatever was coming? Suddenly, the door rattled again. Sounds of boots echoed as masked figures outside shouted angrily, their orders clear. "Break it down." Sam's heart raced. They had to prepare for the worst. "Do you think she'll be okay?" Lily asked, her voice shaking, fear etched across her features. The question hung in the air, unanswerable, as everything felt precarious. "She is strong," Tyler replied, swallowing hard. "We need to trust her. We have to focus on getting out of here." As the door trembled from the relentless pounding, Sam looked at his friends. "We fight." The words were abrupt, fueled by a desperate need to reclaim the power he felt slipping away. The others nodded, a pact forged in shared determination. The door bucked under another assault, splinters flying as they braced against it, hands gripping the wood like it was their lifeline. The realization sank in this was not just about survival, this was their moment to reclaim their lives, to rewrite their story. On 3, Sam counted, adrenaline coursing through him with every beat of his heart. 1, 2, 3. They pushed hard, propelling the door against the intruder's weight. For a split second, there was a momentary hold, a collective breath. "Go!" Ethan shouted. Together they shoved the door fuller, and in that moment, the door splintered and crashed open. The sound reverberated through the air like thunder, announcing their defiance. With one swift motion, they darted into the darkness outside, the cold night air hitting them like a refreshing wave. "This way," Ethan urged, leading them around the side of the warehouse, where shadows concealed their escape. The night was strangely calm, the chaos of the warehouse behind them feeling surreal. They ran breathlessly down the alley, hearts pounding in unison, the fight spurring them forward into the unknown. Sam found strength in the warmth of Lily's hand. "Where are we going?" Tyler gasped, trying to keep pace. "To the old mill by the river," Ethan replied, glancing back at the warehouse, fear flickering in his eyes. "We'll regroup there." As they reached the riverbank, they slid to a stop, breathless. The soft lapping of the water contrasted starkly with the adrenaline still thrumming in their chests. "Are we safe here?" Lily whispered, anxiety pulling at her voice. Ethan glanced around, nodding. "For now. But it won't last long. We need to talk about what's next." They turned to face him, the urgency in his tone pulling them in. "What about the truth you promised?" Sam pressed, anxiety coursing through him like electricity. "You said it could change everything." Ethan took a deep breath, searching for the right words as the moon cast silver light across the river. "Your parents feared for your lives because of secrets they uncovered that were bigger than they could contain. They made a promise to protect you, to shield you from the truth, and it killed them. They knew they couldn't do it alone, and they trusted others to step in if that time ever came." "What kind of secrets?" Tyler asked, frustration tightening his voice. "Did you know them?" "Yes," Ethan nodded, sincerity reflected in his gaze. "But the real power lies with you. You have the strength to finish what they couldn't. You're involved now because you have to carry forward their legacy." Sam felt a shift inside him. In that moment, standing beside Lily and Tyler, he realized he had a choice. They didn't have to be defined by their past. If the truth was hidden, maybe it also held the keys to reclaiming their future. "Then let us do it together," he declared, determination swirling in the heavy air. "We find out everything there is to know, and we put it out there. We aren't hiding anymore." Lily's eyes sparkled with unshed tears. "I'm with you, Sam." Tyler nodded, his fists clenched with resolve. "We face whatever comes next as a family." And in that moment, amidst the crashing waves of uncertainty, Sam felt the weight of hope carrying them forward. They were no longer just orphans, they were fighters, standing united even against the darkest of storms. Together, they would uncover the past, embrace the truth, and build a future filled with courage, love, and resilience, a future not defined by fear but by the unbreakable bond of family they had forged alongside their community. As they broke away from the river's edge, ready to face whatever awaited them, Sam felt a weight lift from his heart. They were not alone. And together, they were unstoppable. Hold tight to your dreams and fight for your truth, and now, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and uplift like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really matters. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending below. We want to hear from you, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to help us spread the word.